Hello and welcome to this digital camera magazine video tutorial. Today we're going to be taking a look at the best way to reduce the amount of noise within your images, your digital images. Now, noise encroaches into the images normally when you have shot a photograph at a higher ISO setting, say from 400 upwards, but it can pretty much appear in any type of image that you take. The most general places that you'll find noise are in even tonal areas such as sky or shadows, and if we just zoom into the shadows of Pulteney Bridge here, we'll just start to see some noise encroaching just around this area here. If I zoom right in, you'll be able to see. Now, there's two basic types of noise. They are chrominance and luminance. A basic explanation of these is that chrominance is the random introduction of colour between pixels, and as noise goes is the easiest to deal with as it has little effect on image detail. More troublesome is luminance, as this affects the brightness between pixels, which unfortunately also means the inevitable loss of some of the finer detail. Now, as always, Photoshop has an answer to reducing noise within the images, and this is the noise reduction filter, which can be found up in the filters tab. Just go down to noise and reduce noise, and that'll open the reduce noise Photoshop filter. Now, if we just take a quick look at the interface here, we can hold down our mouse button, our left mouse button on the preview window, and very quickly just scroll around the image. If we just look down at the bottom, we can see that that's at 100% of the image size. And if we look just closely at the building here on Pulteney Bridge, we can see the noise that's apparent, and also up here in the even tonal area of the sky, and also down here in the shadows under the bridge. If we have just a quick look here on the spire, we can see a few coloured pixels appearing on the bridge, which should on the spar there, which is the chrominance noise, and should be pretty easy to get rid of. If we go down here a little bit and have a look at the noise that's actually on Pulteney Bridge, we can see that that's more of a luminance noise. It's not so much colour, but it's the light and depth of the noise which is breaking up the image. Okay, if we go over to a few of the options on the reduce noise dialog window, we have obviously OK and cancel, and below that we have our preview icon, and as we make changes we can just click on and off there just to see the effect that the changes we are making have on the image. Alternatively, at any point just click on the image with your left mouse button and it'll actually revert back to the original. Now if we go over to where it says settings, we're using default. When you first start using the reduce noise, there won't be any settings underneath this drop down, but as you start to work more and more images and become familiar with the types of noise enhancements that suit your images, you can save those settings down and then you can refer back to them at a later point. Let's click here. We've got high ISO noise, which is one that I was using earlier. Okay, underneath here I've actually set all these to 0, and before you start on an image it's always good just to set all of the influences down to 0, and then you can just start from the original and you can see the effect of the filter on the image. Okay, the first thing that we want to do is, after we've set all of those values back to 0, is go to reduce colour noise, and we're going to set that to about 25%. If you just wait a few seconds, actually underneath the 100% numeric at the bottom, you should see a little flashing line. Once that stopped flashing, then you know that the effect of that 25% has been applied. If you increase that reduce colour noise above 25 up to about 40%, you do start to lose some of the finer details within the image. So it's good just to keep it about 25%. It's a good sort of trade-off of the two. Now at the moment there hasn't actually been that much change, as you can see in the bridge there, but if we go up to the spire and when we just click onto the image and then release the image, we can just see that those little coloured pixels have been reduced slightly. We just increase that a little bit more and we can see they've almost completely disappeared. Unfortunately it's starting to soften the image a little bit. Okay, now the reason that we haven't seen much change on the actual bridge is because this is luminance noise. So what we need to do is actually increase the strength of the effect on the bridge, and this will just sort of smooth it out a little bit. So if we just increase that strength slider up to about 7, and we can instantly see the image is just sort of blurred. It's almost becomes almost watercolor. So we use the next slider down, which is preserve details, just to bring some of that detail back. Again, if you move it all the way up, you'll see the noise probably get worse than it was originally. So we want to just use this in moderation, take it up to probably about 45%, have a look at the detail. Again, just click on the image once to see how the image was before, and then release, and then you can see whether or not that's actually improved the image. Now the image is a little bit soft compared with the original, and to help just sharpen it all up again, we're going to use the sharpen detail slider at the bottom. Now this actually should be done as the final stage, as sharpening always should be, and it takes into consideration the other 3 sliders when it's applying its effect onto the image. So just click that slider and we're going to take that up to about 30%, and that's just brought the edges of the image out just a little bit more. Okay, once you're happy with those settings, if you go over to the little disk icon, just hover above it, it will say save a copy of the current settings. We'll just click on there and we'll just call that one night shot and go OK. That saves all those settings down, so in the future we can come back and apply those settings to further images. Just go over to the settings drop down that I showed you earlier, and we can now see that night shot has been added to the high ISO noise that was previously there. Okay, once you're happy with all that, you can just click OK, and that'll apply the basic reduced noise filter to your image.